we're privileged every Monday and during the football season and really pretty much any time to get Angelo Cataldi and also Gary Cobb on with us. And these guys have been voices in Philadelphia talking about the Eagles. And Gary's been right from day one. Let's bring him in here from Fox 29. Gary, I got to tell you, the most disappointing thing last night was just the will to want to play. Give me your takeaway on what you took away from that and just your overall assessment on what happened in that debacle last night.
Well, you really saw a lot of the things we've seen all year. I mean, the way that this team has gone south. I mean, the defense. I mean, tackling, are you kidding me? I mean, just like some kids, I know the first team I think I played on was like a Pop Warner team. I mean, and of course you see some things with the kids, but you understand these are kids playing. But this is professional football. And to see the horrible tackling by the defense where, just a simple out route and the guy's taking off, I mean,
how about the pursuit angles?
I'll tell you, it's just horrible. I mean, the pursuit and, where a guy catches a simple route, he ends up running it in for a touchdown. Like this is a high school football. Now you see that in high school football because you got one kid out there that's much better than everybody. But this is pro ball, and not just pro ball. This is the playoffs. And you see that kind of play, and you see where, I mean, we talked about the blitz. They're going to blitz you guys. And to look at how horrible the offense looked against the blitz. Are you kidding me? I mean, they should have fired somebody right the time they went into the locker room after the game. How could you have a team go the whole year where teams are blitzing you and you have no adjustment? Are you kidding me?
How about guys getting benched last night, Gary? They benched Bradbury and they benched Hassan Reddick for not wanting to tackle. You're in a wild card game and it's one and done and you don't want to be there? I mean, have you ever seen anything like this covering an Eagle team?
I have never seen, I haven't been as disappointed in a team that you see a team that's got something to play for and to just like it's, practice. It's like you're doing a walk. We got to walk through today, guys. We're going to walk through this. Coming out there, I mean, come on. You got the whole nation watching, because you're playing. You're the only game on. Everybody's watching you, and you don't have motivation, more motivation to go out there and be ready to play. And, there are going to be some changes, but my goodness, man.
You think that was a mute?
If I were Jalen, I'm going to be in somebody's face. Look, we have got to do. How can we have an offense where we have no adjustment for blitzing? We know that team is going to blitz us. I got guys coming off the corner at me, no pickup. The wide receivers are running deep routes. Are you kidding me? Nobody's breaking off a route. We know they're blitzing. I've never heard of anything like that.
Do you think there was a mutiny last night with the head coach?
I think that that some guys are clearly, I could see in their face, they don't have to say anything to me, that I know that they are totally spent on the fact, whatever, with the whole coaching with them. I mean, they got to be through with them. I mean, because, from having gone through it, you depend on your coaches. I mean, you know how much you depend on your coaches. And if they're not preparing you, and plus, I see the way, come on, look at the way the Packers, their offense was so prepared for the Cowboys. And we got good wide receivers. They were so far ahead of the way they took the Cowboys apart, the way they took advantage of. I saw the way they were jumping routes and everything. They made adjustments for that. Are you kidding me? You're going to compare what the Packers, how prepared they were, and you see the way the Eagles were, where they come out in a simple blitz. This guy off the corner, we don't have anybody to block him. There's no adjustment. You mean, I've always known, I've seen some of the best ever play. Blue, check, blue. They're getting out, they know you're coming. That's not professional football. I mean, it's not professional football. I'm sorry.
Garry, do you think Nick Sirianni should be fired?
What's that?
Do you think Nick Sirianni should be fired?
I don't know about him. I don't think they're going to get him. I definitely, there's some people that definitely need to get fired. And I think ultimately, Nick is not just making all the calls on the assistant coaches and everything.
See,
that's why he probably won't get the
I think that's what people are missing here. It's like, it's Nick doing what he's told. How do you fire that if he's doing what he's being told to do? And you think it's more that?
Yes. Nick, come on. Nick did not change defensive coordinators on his own without them having some say about it, meaning I'm talking about Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. They had something to say about it. He wouldn't just go and do that on his own. And I know they have a big say about the players, what players are brought in. They have some say about that and everything. So, because I know Howie Roseman's got his finger on pretty much everything, but Jeffrey Lurie, he has a say about something because they're interested, and you could tell that they're involved. So they had some say about it, but to have the poor, like I said, I'm looking at and talking and looking at the Green Bay game against the Cowboys and hearing all the adjustments they made and how prepared Green Bay was for the Cowboys. And I've been looking at the Cowboys all year, and I see the way they're jumping routes. You're going like, okay, you're going to jump that route like that. I'll tell you what, you're going to cut inside me. Okay, so they had it where, okay, the guy looks inside, and then he runs a corner, and that DB is done. He's out of position. He can, from looking at the tape, you said, now that's an outstanding job of coaching and preparing that team. They were prepared for the Cowboys. Why can't we get prepared for somebody? I mean, come on. You could see a guy's coming. I mean, come on. We know Todd Bowles is going to blitz. What is the surprise? Todd Bowles is going to blitz, and you're not ready for that. If it was my team, I'm coming in there with a machete. Okay? No way you're going to explain to me why this team is not ready for a blitz. We know these guys are blitzing. Todd Bowles is blitzing. 3 years ago, Todd Bowles was blitzing. He's blitzing. He's
still blitzing.
Why are you surprised? And they look the same way against the Giants. And they're surprised they're going to blitz. No preparation. Come on, get prepared. How am I going to pay somebody and they're not doing their job?
Garry, were you disappointed in Jaylen Hurts last night?
Yeah. I mean, I thought that I don't really know so much if it's him. Is it the coaches? But I didn't like the way he played. No, I was definitely disappointed. And but
Garry,
I got to know
that
some
like
of that
he's
has got to
making
be
some
coaching.
business decisions.
Now he got caught
there
in the end zone with that with the safety. Come on, after a certain point, you got to get rid of the football. You got to get rid of the football. Don't be you can't be back there where you're trying to make something happen that's not going to happen. You got to give up on the play. And I think sometimes where he's hanging in there with the play too much. Hey, look, that play's done. Throw the ball away. But I understand, though, I mean, because I've seen this too much this season where they were not prepared for the rest of the league who made adjustments to the things they did last year. Why is it you're so surprised? I mean, you're surprised that they made adjustments. You went to the Super Bowl last year. Everybody's looking at your tape, and they made adjustments to what you did, and you're surprised. You're not ready to make any more adjustments. That's malpractice right there. That's malpractice. Because if you didn't know that they were going to be looking at you after you had, put up big numbers against everybody, and that people made adjustments. They were looking at your tape. They said, we are not going to let this happen this year. This is what we're going to do. And they took it away. The Eagles with the whole year, they did not make adjustments. So the running game was not what it was, and the passing game. And clearly, they did not make adjustments. And then the way everybody else in the league utilizes motion. Do you see the way they utilize motion? I mean, you look at the way Green Bay was utilizing motion. We don't have anybody going in motion. What? Come, look. Because I was saying, one of the number one things is I'm bringing in a guy that knows how to utilize some motion. How could we don't know anything about it? And I know that Nick is the one that's deciding what they're doing offensively. That's his offense. And that is, I'm sorry. And I know that they're probably not going to get him right now. They could get him. He's done, he's made enough mistakes.
You think he's done enough to get fired?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Because I look at the offense. That's his offense. And they're running a blitz. And they're blitzing them, and they have no response. And you're surprised that this team that we knew was going to blitz are blitzing, and I'm sorry. And if it was Jalen, if he's the one solely doing, and it can't be, because I see they're running deep routes. There's a free guy coming. What are you going to do? I mean, the quarterback is basically, come on, the guys are going down. Nobody's breaking off their route. I don't see that. That's not pro football.
Do you think this will be a long process? Like, I mean, by a month? Do you think they'll see some changes in a week? What's next, do you think? How do you think this plays out here, knowing and having followed this team and covering this team, and especially this owner here? Because he did not look very happy in that box last night. You think this will be quickly done as they get ready for the upcoming offseason here?
I don't think it's going to be done quickly, no, because I think they're going to have to look around. And I'm hoping it's not done quickly, because they need to do their homework to see, look, this is where we're behind, okay? We need to get people in here. If they got to get somebody off the Packers staff, if he's got to get somebody off of, let's say, the Rams staff, guys who are running an offense that's a creative offense, and you can see the things they're doing. They're guys that they are getting their guys open just by what they're doing with motion and what they're doing with the formation.
Gary, even the Texans, what they're doing.
Exactly, the Texans. That's exactly it. I didn't mention them, but you hit it right on the head. These guys had their offensive game plan was ahead of the Eagles, and they respond to the blitz. They make teams pay. You want to blitz us? We're going to make you pay. When have the Eagles made somebody pay for blitzing them? Still waiting for them to do something. And then defensively, just horrible. But I don't, I know some of that's coaching, but just fundamentals. Come on. And then for Javon Hargrave, who's out with the 49ers, for him to say that I'm just shocked at how much harder we work out here with the 49ers than we were working with the Eagles, that's an indictment. I'm sorry. For him to say that, and he's not the kind of guy that's just out talking.
No, he's not a hot talk guy.
No, for him to say that, that's an indictment that you're not prepared. Look, as serious as the people in Philadelphia are about this football team, you're going to just go through the motions, no adjustments made and stuff like that. I mean, I was ready to turn the thing off. I'm going like, man, come on. These guys are not ready. How could you not be ready for Todd Bowles blitzes? I mean, come on. That's a kid. That's a little kid does that. Comes in there. Hey, Johnny, did you do your homework? We're looking for this paper. Oh, what paper? What paper? The thing we've been talking about for the last week, and you didn't do it. That's what that's like. Only you got guys making millions of dollars, and the team's not prepared. Come on, man. What, Coach? What are we doing against blitz? Still, there's no answer. Somebody tell me what the Eagles are doing against blitz, other than Jalen running for his life.
Haven't seen it all year. How about this
Terrible.
one? How much accountability do you throw on Howie Roseman for the 23 season and the retooling and the hiring of? Remember something: these coaches and these coordinators were all signed off on by upper management
Yeah.
and a lot of the talent that's built. And I wonder if you heard what I said too, Gary, when it comes to schematics and scheme over on defense. I think they keep the things the same because it's easier on the front office and the personnel department to find guys to plug and play. And that's why they don't change the scheme. I mean, I've never heard a coordinator coming into a new place, offensively or defensively, and running the last guy's offense.
I know.
And you making those coordinators run the offense that's in there. I've never heard that.
I've never heard of that either. And I tell you, I'm just, what was going on this year with the defense. Again, that is, come on, man. You've got guys who you're prepared, and you know how all the work you do because you want to know that your assignment, you know how to play this. So the coaches are going to be very clear about this is what we're doing. And you start off in training camp. You're working on what you're going to be doing, and then you go and change it. But you got guys kind of trying to throw it together. Horrible tackling. Where you going like, man, this is pro football. That's not pro football. Come on, that's not pro football. I'm sorry. And to go in front of the nation, and this is the way you're going to prepare, and you had all year to prepare, and you show up, and this is what you put out there. I'm sorry.
What do you think? Now we'll end it here with this one. So the owner, in your opinion, and Gary, I brought this up a couple minutes ago with my guy Tone here, and I did with Angelo too. Do you think that they believe that this is their problem, or do you think that this is a coaching problem that they can fix, and that this is going to take at least another half year before they hold themselves accountable for the direction of the team? Because, Gary, I see this team trending like it did with Doug as a 5-win team in 2 years. They're trending being a 5-win team unless they make a course change here. Do you think they'll do all the things they need to do in the offseason and have self-evaluation? Or do you think that they look at it and go, hey, we'll just change the coaches out and this thing will be okay again?
Well, that's a very good point as to which way I think it is. I think that they've got to be troubled by what they see. They definitely got to be troubled because they saw the way that how different this team was and how it's just headed down. It's headed downward. So, but I don't know that they will. I don't think they're going to fire Nick right away. I don't think they're going to fire him right away. So because he just got here, and the fact that they were 11-6, but I see it's a very troubling situation because they need some major overhaul. And I don't know if Nick can be the one to oversee it, in that this was his offense. This was his offense. But in order to get to where they want to be with the rest of the league, and if I were Jaylen Hurts, because see, Jaylen Hurts has some power because he got a no-cut. I mean, he's got guaranteed money, millions.
He's got a no trade.
So he needs to make some noise and say, hey, look, I want some answers. And we'll see how it plays out. But it's a very troubling situation to look as bad as he has.
You think he'll have a lot of say in the offseason on who gets brought in there for the OC?
I don't know if he is. I don't know how he's going to respond, but I think he should have something to say. And because he clearly sees the way these other offenses are being run. I'm sure he got a chance to see what's going on with Green Bay, how they got young players, or for that matter, with Houston. Come on, you got these young quarterbacks. These guys just got in the league, and they got a more advanced offense.
All these offenses. Gary, we were just talking. When you watch Nico Collins and you watch the receivers in Green Bay, or even the guys up in Buffalo, or you watch McVay.
Yeah,
they get these guys open. It just looks like it's one-on-one stuff with the Eagles. Hey, go make a play.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, look at the Green Bay. Come on, it's just the way. As long as he had time, these guys are running a route and they are wide open. I mean, and come on, these are the same guys, that the Eagles were. Jalen's back there patting the ball. There's nobody open. These guys are wide open. And here you got quality receivers. Eagles have some quality receivers. And you're going to tell me you're just going to just run, like I said, you're right, which is like one-on-one routes. You got the other people with a scheme. And like I said, the utilization of motion. You look at the way the Rams do it. You look at the Dolphins. You look at Green Bay. All those are young offensive minds. We got to have that. Come on. How could you got to have that. And and no adjustment for blitz. I mean, come on. They're probably going to be blitzing Jalen as he's going into his house. I mean, come on. Come on. It's crazy.
I mean, Garry, they were the most blitz football team in the NFL this year. What did you not think they were not going to do in that game?
Come on. Hey, when they were getting off the plane, Todd Bowles was blitzing them. Come on. Are you kidding me? And he
told the hotel bellman to start blitzing them.
That's right. Like I said, there were little kids telling Mommy, I think the Bucs are going to blitz the Eagles. Little kids. And the Eagles don't know they're going to blitz them. And they got no adjustment, standing over on the sideline, scratching your head. Come on. I mean, come on, man. You just can't make this stuff up.
So you're making the call they're not going to fire him.
No, I don't think they are, but it would take some courage to do it. But they have a grounds, because I think other people in the league look at this and go, people got to be giggling and laughing. Like, look at this.
You know what Angelo said in hour one? He goes like this. This is my next appearance. He's going to get a bottle of champagne and he's going to pop the cork. And when they announce he's fired, he's going to have a toast, because this is what he said, that he's the worst coach he has seen in Philadelphia in his time covering the team. And he said that that's the worst meltdown in Philadelphia sports history since the 1964 Phillies.
I would have to agree with him. That was an awful, because of the fact they were not prepared. I mean, that was bad. That
you
was
think
really
that's
bad.
The worst? You think this right now, and I'll leave you on this one here. Do you think this is the worst run of football you've seen an Eagle team go through in your time as a player there?
Yeah.
In the league and covering the team. That's the worst run you've ever seen an Eagle team go through.
To see that ineffective preparation. Yeah, I mean, the worst. Come on. The worst. The guy's known for blitzing, and you're not prepared. How could you not be prepared? How could you not be prepared? I mean, and you got the nation watching. How could you? I mean, I don't understand that.
Garry, you know what it reminded me of? It was like watching a Brandon Staley coached team.
I mean, I'm just shocked. I don't know how. Like I said, we knew they were blitzing. They knew they were blitzing last year. You knew that Tampa Bay was going to be blitzing. And then when they blitz, it's like people on the side, hey, you know what? They're blitzing. I can't believe it, man.
Hey, were you not watching the game like this last night? What are they doing? I mean, the Bucs are beating. Hey, when they I said this, Garry, if the Bucs get going running the ball, this thing's over quick.
Yeah, you knew it. Yeah, that's right.
And when the Bucs started running the ball at 40, they're the 27th or 26th worst rushing attack in the league. And when they got that running game going, I went, this thing's over. They're not stopping them. And when they ran the ball for 120 yards on them.
I know. I mean, and you got
that's a team that scored 9 points last week.
Wow. I tell you, yeah, you're right. And they scored 9 points last week. They were struggling last week. This week, I mean, after looking at that game, I know some of the Tampa Bay fans are saying, we're going to the Super Bowl.
Get this. They scored 9 points versus Carolina.
I know. Yeah, you're right. Against Carolina. See,
Carolina.
now this is showing, and I know, this is malpractice where you got to look at your coaches and go, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's what I did last night.
I mean, I was just
the entire staff out, both sides.
You could clean both of them out. I mean,
except for Stoutland, probably.
Yeah, except for Stoutland. You're right. Yeah, and hey, this is the thing too. This is kind of funny. Going to the bowl last year, going to the bowl, they had the worst special teams. The only thing that looked decent was the special teams.
Michael Clay's the safest. Who would have thought this? Michael Clay's the safest guy in the building right now. He's had the best year. If you're going to give an award, right, for the most improved coordinator in the Eagles, it's Michael Clay.
Michael Clay? What do you say? You just can't make this stuff up.
Boy, I'll tell you, man. Philadelphia's on fire with this guy right now, man. They want this guy's ass.
Yeah, I can see it. You know what? And I mean, if they fired him, it would be fair. It would be fair because that job, having that team that unprepared. Come on, their little kids say, "Hey, you know what? My dad said they're going to be blitzing the Eagles." Yeah, they're going to be blitzing. And you got guys show up and you're not ready for the blitz. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Gary, what would be the reason you're not prepared for that?
I'm trying to figure that out. I can't figure that out.
You think that's an analytical call?
What kind of offense?
What kind of
offense are you running?
You know what? Because you and me know this. A coach, when something's not working, a coordinator or an old school football coach that we were around would come up with something to try to counter our deficiencies.
That's right.
On a weekly basis. But this is something that went on all year. Why? What is it say about a coach that you have in the building that won't address for 18 weeks your number one deficiency when it came to defending the blitz, and you refuse to defend it for 18 weeks?
Come on.
Who's making that call? That can't be a coach, Gary.
I mean, you make a good point, but I know though that Nick was saying this is my offense. Now, you know what? That statement right there is what they use again when they call him in there to hack him. Listen to this statement. He indicted himself. You said this is your offense, and the other thing is, with the power that Jalen has. Now, of course, he's just stepping into it, and he didn't have a good season either. But with the position he's in, he got to make some noise. He got to say, "Hey, what do I like, dude?" You got to say, "Look, I don't want to be running for my life on blitzes again like that." I mean, come on,
Gary. Would you ever consider bringing Belichick in?
I think it's something you could consider. Yeah, I think it's something you
because of his defense.
But I don't think they will because
you bring in Frank Reich to change the offense around, and then you bring in Bill as the head guy.
You would have competence. I'll tell you that. You would have competence.
Right?
Yeah. You could do that. You could do that.
Hey, Gary, we'll see what happens by the end of the week. This should be pretty interesting. This should be pretty interesting. Gary,
it should be very interesting to see what happens. But I could tell. I mean, you saw Jeffrey Lurie walking down that hall.
Did you see that face that he had last night?
Hey, that was the proper face.
That was a pissed off dude last night.
That's what it was. And it was rightfully so.
Yeah.
Because you're in front of the nation. Come on, all the Eagles fans got to go. Here we are making a big deal about this team. And you're going to have this humiliating performance. Humiliating. Come on. This is totally unprepared. And it's not like where Tampa Bay did anything we didn't know they were going to do. But then we're not prepared for that. It's going like, exactly what were you guys doing in the meeting rooms? I want to see the tapes of those meetings. What could they have been talking about?
Yeah, hey, I'm with you, man. How do you do the same shit for 18 weeks and not make an adjustment to something that you know? Hey, get this. At least with the Titanic, Gary, those poor souls on the boat didn't know it was going to hit the iceberg.
That's
you
right.
know it's going to hit the iceberg. You know it. And you still won't jump off the boat. I mean, you still know it. Jump on the iceberg. Do something. Get on there with Rose. Do something. I mean, see, Jesus Christ.
What they wanted to do is every time they saw a blitz, they call a running play. Okay, do that. But you have no plan? It's like you over there on the sideline. Hey, Todd Bowles is blitzing. Hello?
Let me go. Hey, Gary, thank you, my friend.
Hey, have a good one.
You got it, man. Gary Cobb, Fox 29. Don't forget to get him over on Twitter as well, but he's dead on with everything we're saying. By the way, I saw somebody say something in here about Frank Wright and adjustments. Well, let me hook you up here, kid, on adjustments. Frank Wright did not want Bryce Young as the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. He wanted C.J. Stroud. That's a fact. And that's why he was fired. And the reason he didn't change and adjust for him and do in-game adjustments, because Stroud couldn't handle the adjustments. And he couldn't handle the adjustment package. That's why there were no in-game adjustments for Bryce Young. He couldn't handle it. And they didn't have the offensive line to block for it, for in-game adjustments. So you think you know something, and you don't know anything. David Tepper got in the way of the guy who he wanted. I'm not asking Frank Reich to come in and be my head coach. I'm asking Frank Reich to come in and win a Super Bowl as a coordinator like he did for you when he was in Philly. That's what I'm asking him to do. So let's get priorities and let's get job assignments, okay, with proper context here. I'm not asking you to hire Frank as the head football coach, which they could possibly think. Frank's a good coach. You work for an asshole like you have in Indianapolis and another asshole in Carolina. Two biggest assholes you got in NFL are Irsay and Tepper. I don't know. You tell me. Okay? You tell me. So before you start throwing shade on Frank delivered you a Super Bowl. Coached up Foles to bring the greatest moment in the history of Eagle football. Think about that before you start talking shit on him. We're not asking him to be the head coach. Okay? Completely different. We're talking about job descriptions and job titles. All right? Saw somebody throwing in there saying that Frank's problem that he didn't have in-game adjustments. Bryce Young couldn't handle it. Personally, I don't know if Bryce Young's an NFL quarterback. I know that guy in Houston is. And boy, has he changed the model of Ohio State quarterbacks. Okay? Sills, ain't you happy we're out of the playoffs? Stupid. And now you know what I feel. Now you know how I... Dude, I don't give a shit about that stuff. I don't root for anybody to be out of the playoffs. I tell you what's going to go on or what I think happens. Rooting for you to fail. I don't root for anybody to fail. You fail, not me. Players fail. Coaches fail. Nick Sirianni fails. Not rooting. I don't root for people to fail. You do that on your own. People fail on their own. Don't need me to root for you. All right, we're going to reset so I could throw up for one more hour. What a debacle. Has to be the biggest disgrace in Eagle history. I mean it. Wow. What a disgrace. Hit the like button. Final hour, power hour. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Football and Hooters, the perfect